This conference will now be recorded.
So yeah, so this is the SQLite website where you can go and download SQLite and install in your local, which will act like a database in your local. You can create tables directly in SQLite, and you can also try it from Python, from your Python code. Okay, so this is a website I have given in the document. So here I have to go to
So what Sirisha has
download.
given, I tried with that.
Okay, so were
Okay,
you
right?
able to? Yeah, you can do that, but were you able to create a table in your local and were you
Yes.
able to do that? Okay,
Yes.
but this was very simple. So just I have to go and download this SQLite. That's all. Nothing needs to be
Oh,
done.
okay.
So here
Mhm.
I've gone to this SQLite website. I have to go in under Windows because my machine is Windows. The thing is, I have to download both DDL and tools. Both the thing I have to download. That's all you have to do. Then later, what I'm doing. So I got the download. Then later, I'm putting these download inside some path. So the path is C. I have created a folder called SQLite. I have downloaded two zip file, right? So whatever the files were there inside both the zip file, I have extracted to this path. That's all. I've created my own folder called SQLite and I have extracted everything here. So installation is completed now. Okay. Then the next thing is setting path. You have to, whenever you install something, you have to set path, right? So in environment variable, you go and set path like how in Java, Python, where whatever you download, you have to go. But in Python, there is an installation window appears as soon as you download. It will ask to set path that you have to check. Automatically, it set paths in the background. But here I'm just giving this. This is the original path we have in our environment variable. So I'm writing this command set path uh, have the existing path and then append this to the existing path, see SQLite. So as soon as I run this command, the path is set. Now this command prompt will know from where and go fetch the SQLite. Okay. So this is all you have to do. I have installed, downloaded, and then copied all the files into a folder. I have created my own folder and copied everything there. And then here I came and set path. That's all. You need not run anything. You need not open any file inside that SQLite and run anything. That's not required.
Can you write the path command again? Set.
So I have everything in the document, Rajita. So don't worry. So here, this is the path.
Okay.
So I'll be giving the document at end of the class. So what we usually do, go and check add environment variable. I have to go open this dialog box. Then I'll go to path. Then I'll add one more path called SQLite, right? Here there is additional path added, got added. So instead of opening all these things, the easier way is to write the command here. That's all. The shortcut I'm using, write a command to set path here. So once my path is set, I'm just validating whether SQLite is installed. So I have to write SQLite 3. So now you will see SQLite prompt has appeared, isn't it? So now we are all set to open our database. This is our database. Now I'll just run the create command, create table command. Okay. So I have run the create table with three values inside it. This is how the command looks like, the column name followed by the data type of that name. These are text and this is integer. Then later, if you want to fetch all the tables, you have to give dot tables. So it's showing me cats. This is the only table which we created. Now what I'll do, I'll quit SQLite and I'll come out, Control Z and enter. So we came out of SQLite. Then again I'm connecting to SQLite. Then now I'll query all the tables. It's not giving me the cat table which I just created. So now what happens whenever you created, now when you give SQLite, a session got opened, a database session got opened. Whatever you did in that session is not saved. So what I have to do, uh, here, I have to open a DB. I have to create a database. Oh, dot. So I'm just giving dot open customer DB dot DB. So this is, or I will cat dot DB. Okay, I'll create a name DB called cat dot DB, and then again I'll create the same cat table. And again I'm exiting. So when I exit here, when I give dir, it is going to give me what all the folders available inside this current path, right? So here you could see we have cat.db, which got created 6:51 a.m. Just now it got created. So a file is created. This is your database file. So later on, when you are going to SQLite, what you have to do, you can have multiple database in your system. So I'm just giving SQLite 3 and then followed by the database name. So now what happens is SQLite will see if there is a database already available. If it's available in the current folder, it will open that. Or if it's not already available, it will create a new database. So instead of giving open cat db here, I can directly give some db name here, which will create a new database file where all the things I'm doing inside the database will be saved. Inside that file, everything will be saved. Later, I can retrieve it and modify them. So I have connected to the database which is already available. Now, let me give dot table. You can see the cat is still available. Now let me select and see what all there in the database. Select staff from cats. Select staff from will give what all the rows available inside the database. I mean inside the table. Select staff from table name. Okay. So we haven't added anything inside the table. So we are not seeing any result. Now let me insert something. So you could see now, when I give select chart from cats, it's giving me three columns. I mean, yeah, one row and three columns. Name, breed, and age. So I want to do one more insert. now what I feel is instead of writing the insert command again and again, I'll put all my insert into a file. So now here you can see the CatDB database file we have created. So let me create a new file here. I'm putting all my insert command inside this file. I have to rename this. It should always end with SQL.SQL. So let me exit the SQLite and see if my file is there. So bulk insert SQL.text. Why it's showing as text? So SQL is structured query language file. I'm changing the type to structured query language and saving it. Now you don't see dot text. Let me go to the folder. Okay, you don't see dot text. Let me get that again. So here you see dot SQL is there. We are good. We have this just has all the insert command inside it instead of directly doing one by one inside SQLite. I have put everything inside a file dot SQL. Okay. So now let me connect to this DB. dot tables. Good, we can see. Now what I'll do, dot read. I have to read the file which is inside some folder, right? So I'm giving dot read space the file name. Okay, so it doesn't give me any output, but now let me select star from cat. Now you could see only two were added by us, right? We added two column, one is blue and champ. So blue and champ we added manually, the remaining we did from the file. Cool.
These all can we do through this Jupyter notebook, like because when
We
Python
actually
and
we cannot do
electronic.
it from, yeah. Actually, we cannot do it from Jupyter Notebook, but we can do it from Python. I'll show that. That's the next step. First, I'm just making you more comfortable with SQLite. So whatever we did,
Okay.
the create table, we created a DB, we created a table, we inserted rows, and we inserted bulk, right? Everything we will be doing Python. Okay.
This is normal SQL, like how we are using.
Yeah.
Later
Yeah.
you are telling connecting with the Python.
Correct.
No, this is the way in a real scenario, like, or we'll do from Jupyter Notebook and sending those data into MySQL.
So here, forget about Python. Okay. So here I'm just installing some application inside my local, so that I can create a DB and do all the database stuff. Like what do you do in DB? You create a database. Inside database, you create table, insert, select, delete, all those things we do, right? So I'm just doing that. Yeah, forget about Python for next 10 minutes. Um, or next 5 minutes. Now we are now going to see how we can do the same from Python.
Okay, like dot tables, or we can do show tables like that also.
Yeah, we can actually do, but since we are using SQLite, so different database will have different set of query, right? The
Yeah.
select will be same for everybody, but
Mm-hmm.
now I'm using my SQLite. So this will be different from Oracle. Oracle will be different from Mongo query, and that will be different from Postgres. But it's a minor difference. It's not a major difference. Few difference will always be there. But we saw select and insert looked exactly like how we do in Oracle, right?
Okay.
1 minute. I have not added these chips into your document. So I'm just adding them. Okay. So we did a create insert. Now I'll do some select query. Okay. So what I'll do, select star from So I'm just telling select sharp from cats where name is. So usually in Oracle you will give equal to, right? But here you have to give is, and it should be always a single quote. If you give double quote, it will not work. But with Oracle, I can give both single and double quote. I can give equal to. Since I worked in that DB also, I know the difference. So the main motive is any table, any data, let it be any database, but I'm just showing how we can connect from Python to any database. How can we do all those things from any database? Only the syntax will change if you are using a different database, but the concept is always the same. So when I give name as Piggy, okay, we don't have any, we haven't named anything called Piggy. I Okay, so let me do something else. Wait. Breeders. So the second column is breed, right? First is name, second is breed. I'm telling breed is husky. Okay. So breed is a husky. And I have two entries. One is champ is husky and river is also husky. So I got both the output. Then I'm telling I'm using if not. I'm telling select the cat where breed is not Chihuahua. So now it's giving me, apart from this particular record, it gives me everything else. Do I have pub? Scottish, okay, lab, okay. So now I'm telling select sharp from cats where breed is not Chihuahua and also breed is not, let it be lab. I'm telling apart from these two column, these two record, give me all the remaining record. It gives me everything else. And now when you see the age, let me do select sharp from. So when you see the age, only this river is age is higher than 3. So let me give select star from cats where age is greater than 3. It's giving me river. So these are the basic SQL you have to understand this class. So now let's do everything from Python. We cannot do it from Jupyter because Jupyter is not in my local. Jupyter is running somewhere inside the internet. Okay, because the file I can save the Jupyter output file in my local, but it's not running in my local. It's running somewhere. So you see, whenever whenever I the only the file is fetched from my local, but here you see it's running, it's asking whether the Python 3, even if I don't have Python 3 in my local, I can still run all those queries, all those, I mean whatever Python code I write in Jupyter I can still run, because it's not running from my local Python kernel, it's running from internet, which Jupyter has inbuilt inside it, inside this notebook it is there. So this is kind of a tool, internet tool. It's not your local. So you cannot do it from Jupyter, but um, the the usual way how we usually do, we can go and create a Python file in VS Code and then we can run it. So that's what we are going to do. Only then we can connect to our local. Okay. So now, hmm, let me open VS Code. This is a problem with VS Code. Okay, so I'm creating a new file, and here I'll be writing something. So here I'm going to create a table. I'm going to write a Python file from which we will be creating a table, and then later we will insert into the same table. Okay, so now let me initially, if you have to connect to SQLite from your Python, you just have to import SQLite. So this command will change based on what database you use, what tool you have in your local. So this will be like different. But apart from that, everything else will be same. So now after I connect to SQL, after I import SQLite, I can use all the libraries inside SQLite module, right? That is why you are importing it. This is kind of a module from inside which some function will be there by default. You're going to make use of all the functions, right? So after importing, I have a function called connect. So SQLite 3 dot connect. So what using connect, I can either create a new database or I can connect to the existing database. So here I am going to create a new database called friends.db, and I'm saving this connection to a variable. And later what I have to do after in the previous session we have seen, right? Once we connect, we have to create a cursor. Only with the cursor, you can do anything. The cursor will act like a tool which will go and write your queries. So I am just going to create a correct cursor. Cursor should be created from the connection. So connection dot cursor. Again, I'm going to save this cursor inside a variable. Okay, so initially we created a connection. Inside the connection, we don't have any DB called friends, so I'm creating that, and I'm creating a cursor. Now I'm going to execute a query using this cursor. The cursor is now C, right? We have saved the cursor into C. So how do you execute any query? C dot cursor dot execute, right? So this will execute whatever query you write inside this brackets. So I'm telling create table friends, and the DB name is also friends, the table name is also friends. You can give any different name also. Then here I'm telling 3 column. So I want friend name, name one, name, I mean first name, last name, and how close that friend is to me. Something like that. Silly, okay. Now what I'm doing, and then I'm committing it. Actually, create doesn't need commit, but simply I'm adding the commit, and then later I'm closing the connection. Okay, the commit is required only for insert and update and delete. For create, commit is not required because it's an auto commit command. Whenever you create, it will be auto committed. So but let it be, because we are going to do insert also. So I created a connection, executed, and I am closing the connection. Let me save this file as okay. I already have my friends. Where do I say? I go to Python, project Python, and I save it here. Okay. Friends. Okay, there is already some file called, let me replace that now. So I'll exit this SQL, Control V, and enter. See, now we are in user Annapurani, but my file resides inside where does my reside here inside project Python, right? Friends, we created just now. So I want to go to this path. I'm copying this path because that's where my Python file is, and I want to run my Python file from here instead of usually what we do, we go to we in Visual Code, we just run, right? I can still do that, but I want to show in the command prompt because that's where we are running all our queries also, right? Instead of running directly, I'll just go to the path. So I'm going to project Python. Let me see if I have friends. So I have it here, which is created 7:14 a minute ago, and I have the file here. I want to run a file from my command prompt. How do I run a Python file in my command prompt, guys? How do I do that? We actually seen this in the past.
Python, and you have to give the name of the file.
Good. So Python space friends.py. So that is a file name, right? Let me copy paste. So my file got run. Okay. And now let me see ls. So we don't have any DB here. When during my previous ls, I don't see apart from .py, I don't have any other file format. Few text, but only py. Now when I give ls, or let me directly give ls space, what is the file we try to create? Friends.db, right? You see, friends.db, it got created 7:16 when the time when we ran the Python file. So now I have a database file which will have a table inside it because we have created a table inside this from our Python, right? So now let me connect to SQLite 3. This is like connecting to your database directly, not from Python, but directly. So how do you connect to that particular database? You control CV, and now we are inside that particular database. Now I'm going to give dot table. I have a table called friends, and I don't have any column yet, but I have one more command called schema. So this will tell me what is a command they use to create a table too, so that you can understand what all the columns there inside it. So now, yeah, we have created a database from this. Now let me insert something. So let me comment this create, otherwise it will again create a new table called friends. So now what I'll do, I'll write a insert query. So c.execute. So insert into friends. So I'm adding some first name, last name, and how close that friend is to me. Okay. Now what will happen? You are importing, then you're establishing a connection. Since the database file already there, you are going and opening that particular connection.
Is semicolon required for this insert? For the create table, above line semicolon is there.
Correct. We have to. So I'm executing, I'm committing, and then I'm closing. Okay. So let me save this. Control S, and let me go back to SQLite. I'll run the same Python command. So this time it is going to insert record, and again I'm going to connect, and so now you see insert command what we did from Python is now appearing here. Before when I give select char from friend, it gave null, it gave nothing because there was no record inside it. Now let me do few more inserts. So instead of doing this, I have another way to do. Usually we follow that. What I'll do, instead of directly giving the query inside insert, so this insert is very small. The query is very small because we have only 3 columns. What if a table is having 10 column and you have to insert 8 columns, and the column value is also very lengthy. Some column is called address. It is having a line of address inside it. So that time what will happen when you directly put your insert command inside this, it will not look good. If somebody else is reading your file, it will be like they cannot understand that easily. So what I'll do, I'll create a variable called query. So inside query, so I have written my own query here. Let me see if this works. So I have saved it. So you could see there is one more record. So similarly, instead of writing a query and then executing it from here, I can do another way. So the same thing what I'll do instead of this, c.execute query. Let me also show way 3. So what I'm doing here, I'm creating a query. Okay, but here I am giving question mark. I'm not giving the values, and here I'm giving a data inside. Okay, so I'm having a data so that this can be inserted into the value. Here I just give query comma data. So this query will be taken and this data will be substituted inside that query. Okay, so let me see this, and then so you see now a new record got inserted. So there are three ways, but this is the best way. This is the way they follow. Why we are adding question mark and doing this is if you are inserting multiple records, you just have to add new data one, data two, data three, and then you can the same query you can use inside that only the data will be replaced while you execute. So let me show you another example. So same thing, I'll be connecting to the same database and I'll create a cursor. Now I'm going to do a bulk insert. I'm going to do multiple insert. Here we were inserting only one single record at a time. So here I'll show you how to do a multiple insert. So here I'm just passing person. I'll create person now. I want to do it in a form of list because I have multiple records. What I'm doing, I'm creating a, okay, this is people. Okay, ignore this. Okay, so I have created a list, and inside this I have multiple tuples, and I have the data for this. Okay, so first name, last name, and the closeness. So I have this data. I want to do bulk insert. I want to do multiple insert. So what I'll do, if you want to do multiple insert, which means one insert after the another, you have to do it in the form of for loop. Okay, so I'm just going to write a for loop for person in people. So how do you always write for I in X? X will be the input, but you create a temporary variable called I, right? Instead of I, I'm just giving person, or I can give I only for I in people. Execute this, and here I have to substitute I because one after another record will be taken as I in for loop, and it will be substituted here. And I'll just save this. Now the file is bulk insert. So you can see all the records I have inserted. So if you want, you can put some Python insert print command inside this Python so that you will get the output here when you run this Python. You will get the print output here. And then I'm connecting to the DB and I could see all the records. So this is how you can do insert and create from your Python. And select is very simple. As we have seen, fetch all is a fetch one, fetch all, or these are the function you have to use when you have to select. So I'm creating a connection. So it's not my friends, it's friends. And then I'm creating a cursor and then I can execute any command, select star from first name or closeness greater than 5. One minute, I'm having some problem with my go-to. Okay. So here I'm just going to execute the select command, okay? And then I'm going to give fetch all. If there are multiple inputs, output, then fetch all. If there is only one result you want, then fetch one, okay? And if you want to print from the Python directly, then you have to print the result. That's all. We are opening C. C is a cursor, right? We are opening that in the C, whatever result are there, we are going to print. So first, let me give fetch all. So see, it's fetching me everything, all the record. I know this is going to give me only one record. I'm going to give fetch one. So now I got only Rosa. So that's all, guys, about Python SQL. We'll meet again on Monday. If you have any doubts, we can go through it and we will see a new um, next topic in Python.
Okay, no class tomorrow, no?
No, we don't have class tomorrow. We will see on Monday.
Okay.
Thank you.
This program